Welcome back to another episode on the MLD Balls page. In today's episode, I'm going to be doing my way too soon college football playoff predictions. I'm going to be predicting the top 12 teams for the college football season that's coming into this year. And first things first is we're going to eliminate some teams. JMU is a team that I you feel me? Even on the season was going, I ain't believing them. I ain't even really tuned into the game for JMU. Ain't trusting them at all. Tulane, that's another team kind of felt the same. I'm pretty sure everybody here could say that, or most people. And JMU looked up their depth chart. I kind of like how they do things. Nobody is really qualified as starters yet because that team ain't that well. But eh, you got to go. Some teams just got to go in like Texas. There's another team that got to go in, and it seemed like Texas Tech is another team that got to go because even before Brandon Sorsby had this things going on, yeah, he transferred here, good quarterback. I still would have had Texas Tech not making it. Um, these teams that are remaining, we're gonna see who gets removed. But those were the three easiest removes. I don't know if anyone else could agree. Um, time to add. What's the easiest add this year? I think Notre Dame is a comfortable add. You got CJ Carr. They are losing that running back duo, but I still believe in that team. Texas, Arch Manning, Cam Coleman, that team should be here, right? That team's defense is even good. Um, Colin Simmons, like the best player on defense in the draft, both just got implemented in this year's playoffs. And Leonard Moore, who I think Leonard Moore, when I watch him play, has been the best corner prospect I've watched in a long time. Um, maybe since what Derek Stingley. Leonard Moore has been awesome. Colin Simmons has been productive, and I love production. Like these college football edge rushers that don't produce, like the Shamar Stewarts of the world. Those are the guys who I'm always scared of. Um, Texas. This is a playoff team. Don't know where I'm going to put them yet. And last team I want to put, we're going to see, but who do I think is going to be the number one team? All right. I did a little bit of removing. I got to add one more. Um, Dude, I think the one more I add is going to be this OSU team, Oklahoma. Last year, this is basically a team that this logo, whatever, Northeastern, they wanted more competition. Half of the roster is kind of like what Indiana did with their coach in transferring the team, Deion Sanders and his son and Travis Hunter. That's kind of what they did when they went from school to school. They want more competition. This is a team that I believe was like two losses last year, something like that, and they didn't make the playoffs because of what conference they're in. And they got Caleb Hawkins, they got Drew Mesnamaker, they got a lot of motion going on, bro. That offense with Drew could literally have the number one pick on the team in Drew Mesnamaker and a first round running back. Um, the coach is good. Texas got a lot of things going. Notre Dame. I think these are just three teams that are more talented than JMU, Tulane, and Texas Tech. They lost everything that was good about their team. Literally every single first rounder they had qualified to go in the draft. Um, who is the best team or teams that just missed? I got LSU just missing the playoffs. Good team, good team. But I thought they added Xavier Atkins. I don't know what's going on with Xavier Atkins to LSU. If he goes to LSU, I think that makes them a playoff team. Who would they remove off this list? Maybe Alabama. I don't know. We didn't rank this list yet, y'all. This is just the beginning. We're just removing, kind of adding. We're kind of, swapping the list around right now, but we ain't ranked yet. All we've done is remove. And South Carolina Gamecocks. They got Lenora Sellers and Dylan Stewart, who are like South Carolina Gamecocks. This is a depth chart that I need to look out on a little bit more because that's kind of why I kept delaying this live. I wanted to just like make sure I didn't miss anything because this transfer protocol stuff is awesome for college football, in my opinion. Everybody gonna have their opinions on it. Nah, this is NFL free agency, bro. I don't even know where Xavier Atkins at right now for some reason. Maybe I'm just stupid thinking he went to LSU, but it seems like he stayed at Auburn, which sucks because if LSU added one more transfer like that, that would have been amazing, bro. But Gamecocks, they added a lot to that offensive line, which I thought was a desperate need for them. They still got Dylan Stewart, who is awesome. Ah, It's gonna be a team that is gonna be hard to keep them out. We're gonna see what I do, but you gotta mention them, right? Michigan. Michigan is awesome. They added Daly, super productive pass rusher from Utah last year. But we'll see how that looks. They also got that quarterback, Bryce Underwood. He a dog, bro. But we'll see how things go. Last team is Missouri. Missouri got Ahmad Hardy, bro. That oh no, man. Missouri got Ahmad Hardy, but they lost Damon Wilson. Um, they lost Zion Young, and that was a team that was just Ahmad Hardy and they edge rush duo almost. Like they lost some players, and they lost Damon Wilson to a team that's unfortunately ranked above them. Um, is there any other teams that I'd like to mention before I start ranking this list and get to the good part of the episode, man? If you stay tuned in for this episode this far in, I'm telling you, you may as well just stay because I mean, this is where the fun starts. My number one team. Okay. So, who do I have making the championship? You got Oregon as a serious contender. Dante Moore's coming back. You got a lot of who else is Oregon football depth chart. I'm not as high on Dante Moore as everyone else is, but he is still a legit player. You got Evan Stewart. What is Evan Stewart doing here still? Um, this team still is about the same. Um, got some people who qualified for the draft, but you got ukulele at edge still. I think this is just a top four team though. They have an automatic window to make the playoffs though. Like this team will be in the playoffs, top four. Um, Ole Miss, are they better than Oregon? I mean, last year I almost felt like it, but you know it ain't happen. Um, Going into the year, you got Keywan Lacey, Trinidad Chambers' first full year with the team. Oregon's defense do got that one corner though, right? Brandon Finney. Brandon Finney's a dog. I think Brandon Finney's like first round player. Him and Leonard Moore have to be the two best corners in college football, if I'm not mistaken. Ole Miss college football depth chart. College football depth chart. I I feel like I don't know why, but Miami at the championship game again and winning with Cooper Barkay and Malachi Tony wide receiver duo is probably where I'm leaning towards. Like it's been where I'm leaning towards since Darren Mensa news going to Miami happened, and Damon Wilson also followed along. I think Miami got a lot of first round and second round talent on that team. Miami got my number one quarterback in Darren Mensa. Miami got a lot of motion going on, man. I almost want to say Miami is the team to beat. I feel like it's a lame answer to have a repeat, but like Ole Miss got a lot of new pieces on defense. That is a team that could maybe upset and take one of these teams off. Man, Oregon should be the team that win it all, but I don't believe in Oregon. I'm just not a Dante Moore guy. I think if Dylan Raiola like lose some of that weight he just randomly added and like he could come out and somehow steal his job, I think that would be awesome for Oregon. Like Dante Moore though, he ain't a scrub though. Like I'm just not high on him. Um OSU, man. Like am I crazy for feeling like Miami OSU is something that could happen? You got Indiana has Josh Hoover, who I mean, they're gonna run the same things they did with Mendoza. This is a team that I mean, a lot of the teams stay the same. Carter Smith is still there. You got probably better wide receivers with like Nick Marsh and things. I think OSU is going to surprise us, but it don't got to be the championship, right? I do think this is a top 14 though. Um, OSU would they come out and beat a team like Oregon? It's possible. OSU could go out and beat a team like Oregon. I think that's possible. I'm not really, like I said, all that high on Oregon. I think Drew Mestamaker, Caleb Hawkins, and that offense. Oh man, that's about to be a fun team, man. Dante Moore and the the Ducks? Yeah, these boys are Ducks, bro. Um, Georgia Bulldogs. Would I have them beating OSU? That defense is better for sure than OSU, but OSU, like I'm saying, they just brought everything back and added some new players at places they felt like needed to be. Like teams like that totally come together, dude. That is a hard thing to break, but Georgia is also a team that they're most of their players are coming back. Maybe besides the wide receivers, um, Gunnar Stockton has been awesome. I like Drew Mestamaker more, but Gunnar Stockton is, dude, this entire quarterback class is why I'm so excited about the college football season. If you kept up with this channel, I'm just like a sports channel. I've never been into college football this much. But actually, I'm lying. I'm lying. But like, as I've been into college football, this has been the best like up and coming quarterback class. Like, this is amazing. This is a hard like I'm stumbling on my words. I'm doing nothing but stumbling as I'm trying to rank the best college football teams because it's a hard exercise. Um, I'm thinking my top 12 is where I'm at though. Kind of just stuck in last year's teams and removed some is why it was easy to get a top 12. But ranking 1 to 12 now, it's kind of hard because even last year I didn't really agree with their rankings. Um, Indiana, like I said, Josh Hoover, dude, having them in Miami back to back is kind of annoying as a viewer, but like I'd have Miami win it this time. Um, or that okay. Who could beat Miami? Maybe Indiana go back to back is crazy, but who could beat Miami? Um, Ohio, you got Julian saying Jeremiah Smith. Julian saying Jeremiah Smith might just teach OSU its lesson, right? Like there's levels to this. Like they did not no. Drew Mestamaker cool and all, but like there's just levels to this. Man, yeah, I'm a go towards that. Ohio State is still a team we gotta respect, but OSU, man, OSU is gonna be a team that's gonna be a team to watch next year. Um, Ole Miss, Trinidad Chambliss, him versus Darren Mensa or Josh Hoover. Ole Miss could really win that. Ole Miss team is good. Ole Miss running back is great. Ole Miss Miami could just be it. Ole Miss Miami, Indiana Miami. I'm gonna go Ole Miss Miami. I really thought Ole Miss could have been in the championship game last year. Who has left this team? A lot of things going on in college football. Like Ole Miss, what are they? The Rebels. a lot of things move around, and you just gotta look at the depth chart nowadays. A couple decades ago in the past, for you old heads, man, y'all knew everyone that was on the team. Ain't no transfers. These boys is transferring and getting money. I am so happy for them. A lot of transfers going onto this Ole Miss linebacking and safety core, and I think that's due to the emergence or the coming up of Trinidad Chambliss. What word am I trying to say? Emergence. You're like, y'all hear what I'm trying to say. The emergence of Trinidad Chambliss, I think, made a lot of people want to come to Ole Miss. Same thing with OSU, but Ole Miss already got that experience a little bit, you know. Miami's a dog team. Haven't talked about Texas A&M yet. They got what? A wide receiver, I believe, Isaiah Horton. They got Marcel Reed, who I think people are sleeping on. Texas A&M, did they get anything on their like defense though? They did lose like a good amount of defensive tackles. Like Texas A&M had so many defensive tackles get drafted. Um, but I mean, Cassius Howell's gone, obviously, but they got, a lot of people coming back on the defense, and I thought this offense was awesome last year. Marcel Reed, gonna be a first round quarterback in my opinion. I think Darren Mensah, Chambliss, Sand, Hoover, Drew, Gunner, Dante, even Mateer, Marcel Reed, CJ Carr, Arch Manning, Sam Levier, even Lenoris Sellers. Like these are a lot of quarterbacks who have an argument to be first round talents. That's why, like, dude, this is awesome to have 12 teams in the college football playoffs. Also makes it a little bit harder for a video like this because it prolongs it. It used to be 8, so like you just had to pick the best 8. You feel me? Now it's like, hmm, hmm. Or did it used to be 4? Am I lying? They didn't call it. I don't know. Right here, I'm gonna say that Alabama. I'm gonna put them down a little bit. Ryan Williams, wide receiver 1. I'm not loving it. You do got a question at quarterback, and did you upgrade that quarterback? I don't know. We're gonna see how Austin Mack plays, but Ty Simpson, I mean, he did go in the first round, right? I would have had like a day 2 grade on him, but he went in the first round. But I'm not really loving this Alabama team. Their secondary, though, is lethal. Alabama's secondary is lethal, so I'm going to keep them here. But maybe as the last team, they just get that Alabama Roll Tide 12 spot. You feel me? How I'm looking at it, Alabama is probably my last team here for sure. Last team in the top 12. If they make it, it's because they're Alabama. Texas. This is a team that them and Notre Dame almost should have made it last year above like JMU and Tulane. I ain't gonna lie. Now Notre Dame not making it last year was crazy, but they did lose those wide receivers. I mean those running backs, but like they just like moving people up the depth chart, and CJ Carr is gonna have another year of experience. Got some wide receiver talent. Great coach. The defense on Notre Dame, they added Xavier McKinney. That corner trio is awesome with Christian Gray. I think Christian Gray is like a first round day 2 type of talent too. Why I talked about Leonard Moore. These receivers on Notre Dame are going to be given hell matchups. Like, these receivers are going to have problems against Notre Dame. It almost makes me want to, like, how much do you value a secondary like that? If it was a front 7 like that, You almost win the championship if you have a front seven with someone as talented as Leonard Moore, Christian Gray, and Xavier McKinney on them. But you don't. And those are cornerbacks. So, like, that defense is solid just off of the DBs. I ain't gonna lie. The linebacker that they got is so cool. This defense, Notre Dame might have to be respecting a little bit more on this list. OSU is cool, but like Notre Dame has the same things that OSU has. Um, do they have the same amount of talent though? I think Drew is better than Carr. I think that Hawkins is better than what they got going on at running back. The coaches are like both of them are good coaches. You know, you got a good coach, you got a good coach. The defense on Notre Dame, though, like it's a landslide. But Drew Mestamaker is such a good quarterback that is he still gonna be able to find what's open? Like, there's no way that these DBs just allow multiple pass coverage sacks, right? Like, that would be an amazing thing if Notre Dame could do that. But man, Notre Dame is maybe a team that I gotta put at the number 5 spot. Miami's my number 1. Ole Miss number 2. You almost want to put Indiana number 2. Josh Hoover is a good quarterback. Nick Marsh being added. He's a first round receiver next to Charlie Beck. I think I'm gonna go with a repeat. I think Indiana, Miami, just what you got to do. Ole Miss does have Trinidad Chambliss. They do got Kewan Lacey, but like Indiana, Miami, I know that might be annoying that I got to repeat, but I added some teams. You know, sometimes it is just a repeat. Ole Miss is around my number 3 team though. Trinidad Chambliss, Kewan Lacey are awesome. That offense is awesome. They added a lot of weapons to that defense. I think quarterbacks like Chambliss are capable of making their receivers play better. And that's why I'm debating this Drew Mestamaker Notre Dame thing. Drew Mestamaker, he doesn't have like a Jeremiah Smith. So, like, is there anyone that Leonard Moore could affect as much? You know, like we're doing that Bills calculus. You know, the Buffalo Bills calculus. We don't have a number 1 receiver. So, like, who does Patrick Surtain cancel out? You feel me? Like, this calculus, we don't got a number 1. You don't cancel nobody out. Drew Mestamaker just throw the who open. I almost want to put even though Notre Dame got a lot of first round, you know, talents, I think this is the game where we're gonna, you know, criticize them the most and watch them the most because there's no wide receiver 1. So who's gonna lose? You know, it's not even gonna be a bad loss, but you know, Notre Dame. Let me check out that front 4. I keep talking about this secondary. Let me see if there's a name I got to be reminded of as I'm ranking because, you know, it happens all the time. Marcus Freeman, just at coach, is that something I should trust enough? It is. It actually almost is. But that's why I got them making the playoffs as a team that didn't last year. And honestly, they should have last year, if I'm being real. But nah, I got them as my number 6 team for now. Texas. Is Texas like a team that I gotta move them up, right? Are they above A&M? Okay, Marcel Reed or Arch Manning. That is a fun topic. Marcel Reed's been playing better, but I'm gonna go equal. I think that Marcel Reed and Arch Manning are both top 5 picks or top 10. Will it happen? I don't know, but I think Marcel Reed and Arch Manning are both top 10 picks. The Texas wide receiver room is awesome. Yeah, they got two first rounders on the wide receiver room. They got Gooseby still. Oof, oof, oof. Ah man, you gotta put Texas above A&M, huh? You gotta. They got Colin Simmons. You gotta put them above the Sooners off of that, right? What about Georgia? What about OSU? Yeah, nah, Texas with Arch Manning, they are a top five team, huh? I gotta move this team up. They should be. If they aren't, that is not good. This team has way too much talent. No, no, this team has way too much talent. They're almost more talented than Ohio State. Um, Ohio State. Dude got Julian saying they got Bojack, right? They got Bojack. Ohio State. Who's on that defense? They have a lot of first rounders last year. Dude, you had so many first rounders that this defense has to look different. Um, this defense is something that I'm gonna have to learn. Like you're gonna have to show me it. Colin Simmons alone is better than this Ohio State defense. Um, oh, is Texas a team that is lurking their way all the way up? Texas or Ole Miss? Huh? Texas, if anyone got like the pieces to stop Keywan Lacey, right? Texas depth chart. Texas is a team, y'all. Yeah, I'm seeing it. Everyone knows that, but like Texas is a team. But I think right here is where it could stop. Gooseby should have declared for the draft, though. He literally alone let Arvell Reese become a like top 10 pick just off of that one highlight. But uh yeah, I'll go Texas above Ohio, and then Ohio or OSU. Oh, I love that. I love that conversation sparked another conversation. Um, Ohio's defense, I mean, I feel the same about OSU, but Jeremiah Love though, right? I mean, Jeremiah Smith. Drew Mr. Maker though, man. Bo Jack, it's close. It is close. This is a close one. This is a respectable one. I think this is like more of where Ohio State is, or I think this is where Oklahoma is as a team, and people just aren't there yet and know that yet. I think this is where Oklahoma is as a team. It's just like I said, whole entire new different team, whole different new coach, but it's the same at the same time because they're all coming from the same team. Um, Man, I almost want to put this team above Ohio. Yeah, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put them above Ohio. I know that's crazy, but like, are they above Texas? I mean, if they could cancel out, nah. Texas got too much going on with Wingo, Coleman. Do Texas got too much going on for Ole Miss, or Ole Miss versus Texas? Who would come out on top? Ole Miss depth chart, because they lost like Xavier Harris, who he went undrafted, but I think that's because of like character and stuff like that. This team, like I said, yeah, Ole Miss added a lot going on in their like ability to stop the run. So like Arch Manning ain't gonna be running around everywhere as much. Miss or this team is crazy. No, this Texas team is crazy. Texas or Miami, like wow. Texas or Miami. I believe Miami more. I believe in Miami more. Believe it or not. Damon Wilson, Ahmad Moten, that ability to stop the run, get to the quarterback for sure is there also. Colin Simmons is there to get to the quarterback, but they don't got an Ahmad Moten. Um, Yeah, yeah. Now I got Miami going all the way still. Yeah. Do you have the Texas above the Sooners? That is a team that okay. So they both got day 1 to 2 quarterbacks. I think Josh Hoover is playing being a day one here. Um, Nick Marsh, Cam Coleman. That is a legit conversation. That is the conversation you're supposed to have. Um, you got what? Um, Ryan Wingo and Charlie Becker. Like that is another real conversation. These are real conversations. Charlie Becker, Ryan Wingo, and then what? The tight end room. Like okay, defense, defense, defense. Indiana's going ahead and bringing back a lot. Ah man, oh man, I'm gonna keep sticking it with Indiana, but Cam Coleman to Texas with Trevor Gooseby there still though. Ah man, the O line. I believe in Darren Mensa, believe it or not, even with how the O line is about to be. Duke O line was cool and all, but could Colin Simmons just ruin the game for Miami? That's possible, man. But man, it's possible. But I'm gonna go Texas at 3. Um, Ole Miss, I got them at 4 for now. I think I'm gonna stick that out. Ole Miss at 4. Oklahoma is the team that a lot of people y'all want to go watch highlights. Watch Northwestern from last year, awesome team, brought everything back. I keep repeating that, but it's because I think this is a team in OSU that could even surprise me, and I got them in the top 8. Um, Ohio State, they just lost so much on defense, but that offense is lethal. That offense is lethal, but they even lost Carnell Tate. Bo Jack is there though, but still a playoff team. Um, Notre Dame, is they better than Ohio State? I'd almost say no. Leonard Moore locked up Jeremiah. Um, and then they got multiple DBs. Notre Dame is a team that like, nah, bro. I gotta maybe almost put them higher even. OSU or Notre Dame? No, bro. There is just too many DBs here. There's too many. There's too many DBs here. OSU, yes, I do love, like I said, Drew Mestamaker, but like I'm contradicting myself because of what I said earlier, but like, nah, bro, nah. Notre Dame got safety that I like too, and the linebacker. That defense is awesome. Um, Nah, it's gonna be a fun one. Like Notre Dame, OSU, they're gonna be two teams that make a lot of noise this year. Ohio State, you still got Georgia. Um, Oregon versus a Notre Dame. How would I like that? Or Oregon versus Ole Miss. Didn't that happen last year's playoff? I gotta check out college football bracket from last year. Maybe Ole Miss lost to Oregon. Who did Ole Miss lose to? Did they lose to Georgia? Is that how it happened? Um, Quarterfinals. Okay, so we got Ole Miss beat Georgia and lost to Miami. Yes, and then that Miami game was even good. I watched that. Yeah, so maybe I'd have them lose to Miami again, no cap, or they just run into like Indiana. Um, who knows? Who knows? But man, you almost want to put Notre Dame over Ole Miss. Like Notre Dame, yeah, Ole Miss added a lot of people, but they added a lot of people where Notre Dame is solidified. That's just what they did. Like they literally just added people where Notre Dame is solidified. Notre Dame just keeps adding a rank up my list, huh? Um, Notre Dame or Texas where it ends. The Notre Dame's like actual defensive linemen is not something they have too much of, but like everything else on that defense is amazing. Um, Ole Miss, yeah, not having them in my top fours, sad because I just had them in the championship, but nah. They lost Dejon Streebling, who was also awesome. Um, OSU versus Ole Miss, like this is kind of where like these teams are almost similar, right? Right. You got young quarterbacks who I think almost are the two best quarterbacks in the class. Or a lot of good quarterbacks in this class, man. That's just what it is. Um, that could be a conversation with Drew Mestamaker versus Chambliss. Um, who would I trust more? Chambliss has made some awesome plays, but Mestamaker is just like more of a professional. You feel me? Like he just does the right things. Caleb Hawkins, Keywon Lacy's like the same thing in the backfield. It's like the coach though for OSU. I almost like him more. Chambliss though, Drew Mestamaker is a fun conversation. So far the first, I think every single one of these quarterbacks, but Alabama's is a first rounder. Yep, that's literally what it is. Alabama, Florida, and Missouri are the only teams in the top 20 that don't have a first round quarterback almost. This quarterback class is insane. Gunnar Stockton could almost play himself to being a first round quarterback. This quarterback class is insane. Literally every team I have making the playoffs next year almost has a first round talent type of quarterback. Um, OSU or Ohio, oh man, believe it or not, I think I'm gonna still lean towards OSU. OSU versus Oregon though, that's where I might like say, I could put a cap on OSU, right? OSU versus Ohio, like I said, I would have OSU, but Georgia versus Ohio, Ohio still, like I said, Jeremiah Smith is there. He's awesome. Um, they wouldn't beat Notre Dame in my opinion. They wouldn't be able to handle Colin Simmons in my opinion. They wouldn't be able to handle Miami's front in my opinion. Maybe Ohio could handle Indiana. They could handle Ole Miss, but Ole Miss could handle them too. Like these teams can handle Miami. Um, Ole Miss might have to. I might be a little bit biased towards Ole Miss for some reason. Ole Miss might start falling. I just had Ole Miss in the championship, right? That's crazy. Um, Ole Miss would lose to Oregon. Yeah, Ole Miss versus OSU is a conversation. Um, I'm gonna have Georgia top 12, but that defense on Georgia, they got a lot of pieces coming back. Their corners, their secondary, KJ. They didn't have a pass rush last year that I was too splendid of though. So if they add like a good amount of freshmen, maybe that's better for them. Like they were not getting to the quarterback. Like I don't see who on this Georgia team is gonna get at the quarterback. Um, so like, how are they gonna affect Trinidad Chambliss and Drew Mestamaker, Dante Moore, Julian Sayin, C.J. Carr, Arch Manning, Josh Hoover, Darren Mensa? These are really good quarterbacks, and I just don't think Georgia has a defensive lineman that could put fear in them. Georgia is a good team though. The Sooners, Oklahoma is low key a tough team. They got David Stone coming back. Great interior offensive lineman or defensive lineman, I meant to say. Oklahoma Sooners football depth chart is one I got to see again. Mateer, like I said, at quarterback, he was even playing injured last year. Well, Isaiah Satania, I've always loved him on this team. He's always just been a good wide receiver. Um, I mean, Taylor Wine, cool. David Stone, I mean, They just got a couple transfers who they'll hope to get some production out of, but it's really just David Stone. But David Stone is almost enough. David Stone himself is almost like enough for Georgia. I ain't gonna lie. What I have Texas A&M above all of them, almost right. Texas A&M and their receiver, their offense. Texas A&M is going to be a fun team. They did lose all their defensive tackles and stuff though, right? But Georgia don't really got receivers like Mario Craver and Isaiah Horton and things like that. Nah, they don't. Um, Georgia lost some offensive line play too, and like a Michael Morris. Um, yeah, I do fear for Georgia and their ability to maybe even stop someone like Jaden Bogg, um, Ahmad Hardy. Like, if those guys come in and just gash the team, I wouldn't be shocked. Georgia, maybe I have the Sooners above them even. Georgia Bulldogs. Like, let me double check this. Georgia Bulldogs. Zachariah Branch, I really liked him on that offense last year. He's gone. Kobe Young is gone. So what do they got? Isaiah Canyon transferred here. I mean, they got some players, but like, come on, they just got players. Nate Frazier is cool. You know what? Okay. Nate Frazier. Gunner Stockton. I do like Gunner. KJ still here. Robinson still here. Like I said, the secondary still here, which is cool. But like I prefer like a David Stone. You feel me? Those guys are talented at what they do, but David Stone is gonna give whoever's replacing Michael Morris hell. Um, Alabama, is this just a team I'm giving it to? Just off the logo. Florida, dude, Jaden Bogg is gonna come in there. They lost a lot though. The Gamecocks, they added a lot to their offensive line, and Dylan Stewart really could just like play himself into being a first rounder, or not a first rounder. He is a first rounder, but like the first pick, bro. Like Dylan Stewart is awesome. You know what? I'm lying. You can't be the first pick in this quarterback heavy of a class with like Arch Manning and stuff, but Dylan Stewart could have like a Ruben Bain type of playoffs and just, you know, change everything. SEC team, so like they're gonna have a hard schedule, and they did last year, but their offensive line hopefully is very much improved. But I just got to give it to I got to give it to Alabama, right? Instead of the Gamecocks, like they cool and all, but I don't know, man. The Sooners or Florida, Florida or the Sooners. Um, that's one. Um, who's the quarterback for Florida Gators football depth chart? Who's their quarterback for the Gators? I know that it's not Lagway. Anyone but Lagway, in my opinion, almost is better. Like I'm low on Lagway. Lagway dude was just lagging away. It was crazy. I watched like a 5 interception game from dude. Yeah, this Aaron guy, I just trust him more off rip. Dallas Wilson was cool, or he's a redshirt freshman. I lied. Who is Dallas Wilson? But Jaden Bogg, dog. This quarterback got to be better than DJ Lagway already. Um, nah, I'm gonna give it to the Sooners above Florida, but that's why Sooners and the Florida just missed. LSU, Levitt or the Sooners? Levitt or Alabama? LSU or Alabama? If LSU got Xavier Atkins, can somebody let me know? Is Xavier Atkins on LSU? Like, I think he's on the Auburn team, but like, I don't know. I feel like I got catfished. LSU, are they better than Alabama? Is Sam Levitt going there with a more established offensive line? Trey Green. I, that team is almost better than Alabama, but you just got to give it to Alabama because of the name, right? College football playoffs prediction. LSU is a team that added a lot to the offensive line. They got a established offensive line already. You got Whit Weeks coming back. I don't know. I don't know. LSU, I'm going to keep them on just missed. Alabama, let me see this depth chart one more time. I keep fumbling going back through depth charts, but I'm actually ranking, you feel me? Alabama. This is a team that like, nah, I'm not liking this old Alabama team, bro. Oh man, but that's what it is. This Alabama secondary is lethal. Bray Hubbard, I think he's a first rounder. I love Bray Hubbard. I think Bray Hubbard should have been in this year's draft. I'm so upset that he wasn't. Keon Sabb is cool. Xavier Brown. Alabama's secondary is lethal, but like, is that as good as like LSU having a lethal offensive line and a good quarterback? It is Austin Mack able to go to Georgia and beat them with his ability to throw? I'm almost convincing myself to take Alabama out of here. I don't know why I would trust Austin Mack more than Sam Levitt. Austin Mack more than like even Lenore Sellers. Lenore Sellers and that offensive line, they added a lot. That offensive line sucked last year. They added a lot. Dylan Stewart, that dude, there's just more talent on some of these teams than Alabama. I think this got to be a year where Alabama miss it. They don't even got a quarterback I like. Ryan Coleman guy. Ryan Coleman, should he be a first rounder? I don't think so. If Ryan Coleman is a first round player, it's because he ran like a 4.2 or like a low 4.3. If Ryan Williams does that, he'll probably make the first round. But he be dropping everything, but he also does get open. You gotta respect that. He does be getting open. I do be seeing it, but like I almost like Lenore Sellers more than Alabama. The Gamecocks. Is that crazy? That is a little bit crazy. No, that kind of is, but I'm getting closer to like my last team, and I kind of want to remove Alabama. Alabama got worse than last year. And I didn't even think they should have been there last year. Like, I'm just being real. Alabama historically is like college football, right? College football 2025 bracket. I want to see last year. How did Alabama lose again? I remember when I see, but like currently at the time, kind of like I don't remember. Alabama, who did they lose to? Alabama lost first round to Indiana. They scored 3 points. Like, come on, man. Like, this ain't a team that, like, I got to be looked at crazy for, like, just leaving out. They got worse than last year. And last year, I didn't think they should have been there. And they got beat so bad that they proved me right. Like, Notre Dame should have been in there above Alabama. Jeremiah Love, and Jadarian Price alone is a better offense than Ty Simpson in college football, at least. In the NFL, we'll see what Sean McVay cook. But in college football, like that alone last year, but Notre Dame doesn't have that again. Now they have that corner trio, which is awesome. Oregon. Is Oregon a team that could mass against that? And also have a DB that could affect Jeremiah Smith. I love Oregon's DB, and this could be like his stage to like get his name out there, and he'll play harder than you regularly should. Could Oregon beat Notre Dame? Oregon got a pass rusher. They got pass rush a little bit. Oregon got a little bit of everything. Oregon got a little bit of everything, man. Um, man, Oregon. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna lean towards. I'm gonna lean towards Notre Dame, man. I feel like Leonard Moore would give Dante Moore problems. Notre Dame versus Oregon. Isn't that something that happened a lot last year? Did that happen twice last year? Notre Dame versus Oregon. I felt like that's something that happened last year. Um, could be wrong, but I mean, next year teams are different, so it don't even really matter. But nah, they didn't even play. I was lying. Look at me lying on the internet. Um, OSU, yeah, I'm still gonna keep them right there behind Oregon. Oregon, I gotta respect them a little bit, right? Um, man, I ain't gonna lie. I was watching Oregon. They couldn't stop a nosebleed on the run, man. Caleb Hawkins, man, I'm telling y'all, Caleb Hawkins is a dog. Um, man, dude, Brandon Finney is a dog too, though. But like I said, these are all playoff teams, top eight. Um, who is gonna crack in the top 12 though? Is there a team that I'm missing out on? USC, is that a roster I should check out real quick? Maybe they lost their wide receiver duo, so I ain't really feeling like looking at USC right. No way they could be better than last year. And they lost their receiver duo, right? They still got Jaden Mavia. That is huge. I'm not gonna lie. Having that quarterback makes it to where, like, if the defense looks good, he could make that better. But nah, Jaden Mavia though alone does kind of like it should get you mentioned. I ain't gonna lie. Like they do got potential. I said removed or potential, right? Let me take that out. Let me just put removed from last year. Um, USC is not a bad team, but like, nah. I'm tired of giving them, you know, hammies. I already got enough teams that are in just missed. I don't need to throw another one. I don't think USC would be a team that makes noise for real. Iowa, nah. Illinois, would Illinois do it? I don't think so, right? The Illinois, nah. I think my top 12 is about to get finished. I think these are the top 11, and we about to end this stream soon. And I'm gonna find out my 12th best team. Xavier Atkins on Auburn is awesome, right? Let me check out Auburn roster, because Auburn having Xavier Atkins still lets me know that they're gonna have a guy to get everywhere in the front seven. Dude, this team is entirely new. Holy. They lost Cam Coleman. Yeah, right. Man. Uh, Xavier Atkins need to go, but at the same time, he's so productive in this scheme. Why would you, right? Maybe I understand, but I wish Xavier Atkins was on LSU. Like I've been having in my dreams for some reason. Has Xavier Atkins ever played on LSU? Is that why I keep thinking that? And let me check it out. Cause he has. Okay. Okay, I'm satisfied. That's why I keep thinking that. Okay, that's cool. Alabama or Florida. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Florida would run on Jaden Bog would do it to Alabama, bro. But at the same time, Alabama's secondary is nasty, right? Would that quarterback be able to handle that? It is a lot to handle. I ain't gonna lie. I almost want to not put Alabama in here though. Like I said, I didn't even feel like they should have been in it last year. The team got worse than last year, and like other teams got better. Florida, dude, this team did lose a lot of pieces on that D line. They did, but Alabama lost a lot of pieces too. I think Jaden Bogg is just first round type of player. Missouri and Florida are kind of in a similar boat. LSU, hold on. This final 12 spot is kind of like this is fun. Okay. Before I get to 12, let's see. OSU versus Oregon. starting to lean towards OSU. I love that Drew Maker dude. Love that running back. Feel like they'd run over Oregon, or Oregon couldn't stop the run last year, man. Ohio State, would they be able to stop the run? Who do Ohio State got, bro, to stop the run, bro? Like, I ain't gonna lie, that Ohio State defense, I'm not seeing it. But OSU defense, who's gonna stop Jeremiah, right? Julian Sayin, I ain't gonna lie, that's how it's gonna happen. We all know who Jeremiah Smith is. Julian Sayin gonna stop him. OSU, it's an awesome team. I'm sorry. I think that Bojack would be able to run over Oregon though. Like, I don't know you know what? So would Ole Miss, bro. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Oregon be getting ran on. But Georgia versus Oregon. Maybe I'm lower on Oregon than I should be, y'all. But like, they gonna make the playoffs. Oregon's a good team. It's just like, who do they get to stop the run this year? Oregon football depth chart, and I could be sounding so stupid, and like statistically they're the best run defense in the league, but that was Texas Tech last year, and like Texas A&M actually. But maybe this is a great run defense, and they actually do got Amari Washington, right? Holy, this team do got Amari Washington, right? Holy, no, that is like a good defensive tackle. That's crazy, right? I'm saying that this team got no run defense and they got Amari Washington. But when I was watching them play, bro, I don't know who was doing it to him, but somebody was running all over this team. But they got Amari Washington. Like I said, they could literally have the best defensive tackle on this team. And I'm yapping here talking about we hate they run defense, but I'm just going off my eye test. Like, this is what it is. Pass rush though. Oregon is getting there, right? Amari, you got I'm gonna go and probably end it off with Oregon above Ole Miss. Oregon could almost be above Ohio, but nah. I think that's a close matchup though. Brandon Finney will come out and play against Jeremiah Smith, but like while he's also coming out to play against Jeremiah Smith, I do think that pass rush will get home a lot. Dante Moore, I don't see what he has to fear against that defense. Yeah, no. I be sleeping on Dante Moore, right? And Oregon got a thing that a lot of teams don't got. They quarterback could get hurt and they still be in games with Dylan. Like, Dylan could steal that job from Dante, and it wouldn't be crazy. Oregon versus OSU. This might just be Oregon. I keep coming back to Oregon, but like I'm saying, when you make points later on that you come back and revise, you make points that you come back and revise. But I'm gonna take my L with Amari Washington taking saying they run defense suck. But I'm gonna also trust my eyes a little bit. Caleb Hawkins versus that run defense is where I would test Amari Washington and check him out in the film. Like, what is he against the run? I want to see it against Caleb Hawkins. That game is like you got two problems in Drew Maker and Caleb Hawkins. It's easy when you just got a quarterback you got to go after, but when you got both things at the same time, I want to watch that Oregon game versus an OSU. I think I keep saying OSU sleeper team. Pretty sure y'all get it. Now we got Ole Miss versus Texas A&M. Texas A&M might be better. Kewan Lacey though. Nah, I'm gonna go Ole Miss. The Sooners or A&M. I'm gonna go A&M. It's a good one though. Georgia Bulldogs, and we're about to end this at an hour. Who's gonna be my last team, right? Who's gonna be my last team? Let's try and end this in an hour. I'm gonna be out here in like 30 seconds. Who's gonna be my last team? Alabama. The Gamecocks is a fun team. They added so much to that O-line. But is that something you trust more than Lane Kiffin, right? Lane Kiffin. Lane Kiffin just made his way to LSU. You got to go with that. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode on the MLD page. This is my way too soon college football playoff predictions. I got Miami winning it all this time against Indiana and a back to back. And these are my top 12 teams: Texas, Notre Dame, OSU at 5, probably the biggest shocker. Pick 6, I got Oregon. Number 7, I got Ohio. Number 8, I got Ole Miss. Number 9, A&M. 10, the Sooners. 11, Georgia. And at 12, I got Lane Kiffin coming to LSU. Well, laptop died while hitting the outro. Like I said, that's my top 12 teams. Thank you for still being here. Top 12 teams. Have a nice day and God bless.